confident at half-time, given what you'd seen, that your team would be able to get something?
Yeah, that was the feeling. That was the feeling among us. We knew that we were playing a good game that could change and come to our side, but the penalty hurt us.
I think the problems they caused us were from our own doing. Set pieces, we didn't deal with them well enough, as well as we should have. We definitely tweaked that at half-time and dealt with them better in the second half. And on transition, they're always a threat with the likes of Bowen and Somerville. I thought there was more of an edge to our play in the second half.
Little word about Josh Da Silva.
Josh, one of a kind. You don't get many players that come around like him anymore. What he's gone through it's nothing anybody will ever be able to experience, and I hope no one has to experience what he goes through. But to show how strong he is, to show how much faith he had to get back in, and what he does for this club off the pitch as well, he deserves every moment he gets, and he's one of the best lads I've met.
Let's stick together. We have 3 games to go. He's going to go to the wire, to the last one. So we have to be better and perform, so we achieve points.
Yeah, it was a really bad day for West Ham, and Brentford took advantage, didn't they, Wayne, of some very poor West Ham defending?
They did. I thought Brentford were good, and West Ham's defending was shocking. And when you're trying to stay in the Premier League, you can't concede goals the way West Ham did today. And the first goal here, if you look at this, West Ham are actually in a very good shape, in a 4-4-2 shape. They're allowing the ball to go out wide, so it looks like it's something they've worked on in training. The 2 wingers are in a good position so they can get to the Brentford wingers or fullbacks. And now Bowen is showing them out wide, and it's really important that he keeps him going out wide, because then the defenders in the middle of the box know where he's going, but he doesn't. He allows them to cut back. And then we've got a 3v1 in the middle of the pitch. They're very narrow, the West Ham defenders. And then once the ball comes into the box, the youth gets caught underneath the ball. And now, really important, he doesn't react. If he reacts, he maybe clears that. He doesn't react, and then Brentford get a slice of luck in getting the own goal. And then the second goal, it's a little chip cross into the back post. The youth gets a header, and now he has to sprint. He has to keep him going towards the touchline and not allow him to turn, because the minute he allows him to turn, the attacker's got the upper hand, and then a good bit of skill, and then it's a stupid, naive tackle to give the penalty away. And Thiago is excellent on penalties and very cool. It's 22nd goal of the season, 2-0. And this is the worst one of the lot. So West Ham are chasing the game. They've gone to 3 at the back. And if you look at Wan-Bissaka, he switches off. He allows Thiago to run inside him. But then he gets back into a good position. He gets back goal side. The ball comes in, floats the ball to the back post. And this year, if you're fighting to stay in the Premier League, and Wan-Bissaka is known for his defending, his 1v1 defending, and then you're showing this body language, it's a bad first touch. Again, like the last one, he has to get out to the ball and try and keep him going towards the touchline. He does nothing. He ambles out. Traore allows the runner to run off him. Wan-Bissaka's walking. Dan scored, shot through the legs, no real attempt to block the shot. And it was an appalling defensive display from West Ham. And when you're trying to stay in the Premier League, if I was them West Ham fans, I would be really concerned after seeing that.
We'll address the relegation battle in just a moment, but in terms of Brentford, Joe, is this their best ever Premier League season? They're in the hunt for Europe.
Look, I'm definitely going to take into account this season the fact they lost Thomas Frank, Brian Mbeumo, Visser, Norgard. They're a massive, massive loss for them. But for when it comes to their actual best season, the way that they've consolidated in this Premier League, some of those performances, some of those finishes in the Premier League, and establishing themselves as a top club, I don't know. Look, if they go on and finish in Champions League or Europa League, then of course that's a massive achievement. They've never done that before. But just what they've done over these past 5 or 6 years, I think you've just got to give massive credit to Brentford Football Club. How they've recruited, how they've applied themselves. They've kept themselves out of any relegation battle, and they're moving forward. So I just want to credit them for what they're doing. Well,
West Ham very much are in a relegation battle, and we know Leeds won last night. You're going to see them a little bit later on. Sorry if that was a spoiler for you. But these are the 3 teams that are still very much in it. Forest, West Ham and Spurs. Their run-ins there. Has anything changed for you today? Has that door just opened on Spurs, who play tomorrow, Wayne? Is this a big opportunity for them?
It is, and it's a difficult game, obviously, against Aston Villa. So last week I was saying Spurs, but this week after seeing West Ham and how they were defensively today, I'm really worried for them. And if you look at the fixtures, they've all got tough games. So I think Forest will just have enough points. And I'm worried for West Ham.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? But it's just going to ebb and flow. Look, last week, like you say, as we're looking at both teams, West Ham have been absolutely flying. Difficult performance. They've got Arsenal coming up. But look, it's which Tottenham turns up tomorrow at Aston Villa.
Big day.
Jared, at moments in that game, it was so finely poised. Does it feel really frustrating coming away with a 3-0 defeat?
Yeah, really disappointing. First goal was poor, and I think all the goals were poor on our behalf, and that could have been stopped. But then first half, we hit the post twice. We had chances, even hit the bar. Second half post again. Goal disallowed as well. So there's a lot of things that didn't go in our favour today, and we're on the end of a 3-0 defeat, which we never want to be. But
there were a couple of penalty claims as well. Do you add that into the mix?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them back yet. I think there was a couple we shouted for, and a couple of decisions that didn't go, our way. Maybe a foul on the first goal as well on Dinos. But listen, those decisions didn't go our way.
And at this point, when there's so much on the line, how does that make it palatable? How do you react to it?
You have to react in the right way. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt today because we felt like we'd done enough. We had enough opportunities. Like I mentioned, the ones that we had. We had good moments in the game. We had bad moments. But listen, we're on the end of a 3-0 defeat. What we have to do now is just focus on the next one. That's all that matters. We've got 3 games left, and they're big cup finals for us. That's it. Nothing's changed in our mindset. It's down to us, and we have what we have in our group.
And that's the attitude, treating everyone like a cup final.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be now into the end of the season. There's too much on the line. There's so much on the line. We've done a lot of good work up until today, so we can't let the last few weeks go away from us just because of a result today. Yes, we don't want to end up on the result that we're on the end of, but there was good moments in the game as well where on another day we could have come away with something from this game for sure. But we've done a lot of good things to get into the place that we're in. We can't let them go now until the end of the season. There's too much on the line.
And just finally, being a senior player and being captain as well, I just wondered the senior players in the squad, how you relate that to the rest of the team, because you do have days like this in football. Your experience, it doesn't go your way.
I think just everyone sticking together, as cliche as it sounds, the senior players stepping up in the changing room. But we've had players that have been in this situation, played in the Premier League for a lot of time. We've had newer players that are coming in, but we've got a really good group. And it's down to the senior players to step up and take that responsibility, which everyone's doing, and keep moving forward to the next one. That's it. We can't dwell on what's happened today too much. Yes, we're disappointed. We'd never want to lose 3-0, but we can't dwell on it. We have to move forward because there's no other way.
Thank you, Jared.
Cheers.
Thank you. Nuno, the post was hit 3 times. There was a goal disallowed, a couple of penalty shouts. Did it feel like an afternoon where nothing was going to go your way today?
Yeah, we start well the game. Even though we conceded in the first cross, we knew that Brentford is very, very clinical on their situations. The reaction was good, and like you said, I think first half we hit the post, we hit the bar, we had chances. Was a positive first half. Yeah.
It was a high-stakes game. Did you feel that frustration did creep in at any point?
Second half, when the penalty really hurt us, and after that, we felt that it was hard and started bad decision, disorganization. It's about now reacting. It's a big challenge for us to see how we react from a tough day like today.
It is fine margins and split moments, but you mentioned that penalty and Juve leaving his foot in. Does it come down to a turning point just like that?
Sorry?
That when Juve left his foot in for the penalty, do you think it comes down to those fine margins, those fine details of a turning point in a match?
Yeah, you go with the second half to try and bounce back to react, and then you can see that I think it's a penalty. We should avoid it because even though trailing 1 goal is always in the game, we felt in the first half we had so much situations that things in second half could repeat, and we can had a bit of luck and the ball goes inside. But the second goal, the penalty, really hurt us.
Jared Bowen's come out and spoken to us and spoken about the senior leadership team and the role that they have to play now to get the rest of the squad on side. I mean, would you endorse that they've got a big role to play now for these final 3 games?
Of course, it's a big challenge. Like I say, how we react from today, how we prepare our week, how we commit ourselves. Now we have to look at the stadium, see what the results happening. But we have 3 games to go, and we have to fight each one of them.
What did you say at half-time when it had been so close, you getting back in it?
I said that let's keep doing the same things. Let's stay organised, stay in the game, and the chances will come and will be different. Things will change, and we're positive. We're positive the way we played our game, the way the game flowed, the way we contain Brentford. We had so many situations that we were all hopeful that second half was going to be ours.
Do you believe as well that Castellanos, on another day, could have had a hat-trick?
He will come, he will come. It's the game, it's like fine margins. We are positive that will change, things will change.
And it's 1-0 at half-time, sorry, 2-0, then you thought West Ham had a go, but that penalty decision was rash and a killer for them, wasn't it, Benty?
Well, when you're down there at the bottom fighting relegation, you make rash decisions. You panic a little bit. And in this situation here, I mean, Ouattara does really well. But just don't stay on your feet. They cross it in, hopefully your defenders can bail you out and deal with it. But the moment you go to ground, you run that risk, and unfortunately it's a clear penalty. I mean, at first you think, does he make the challenge outside? But that last little touch there from Ouattara takes him in, and it's 100% a penalty.
There's not much more to add on that, you know. I just can't believe that. You know, a player, he's a good player, good technical player, but obviously defensive. Look, he's already going to ground. He's nowhere near the ball. You know, Nuno will probably look back on that and just thinks, these are the players I'm hoping to get me out of trouble, making decisions like that. And they've done well in the first half, but it's a very calm penalty. Brentford seem to be able to find them. Players who can take very calm penalties, never even look like any doubt of missing the penalty. But yeah, from West Ham's point of view and the form they've come into this game with and what they're doing, what they're trying to do in saving themselves from that was a terrible performance. Terrible performance.
Yeah, you were really disappointed from then on about their reaction, which obviously culminated in the third goal in that period as well.
Absolutely. I just thought second half they would come out after their performance in the first half and they add a little bit more to it. But again, it was capitulation. And I get it. When you're down there for a reason because you haven't been good enough all season. But this performance in the second half showed signs of why they have been fighting relegation all season. Open, passive. No one really laying a glove on anyone.
Honestly, when you look at this, right? Look at Disassi. Look. The ball's not out of play. Look at him. That's the right. Look at him. Look how long he's taking. Look at him tracking back. That's why you go down. When you've got players who are performing like that, when you are in a relegation fight, you deserve to go down. You know, he looks back at that. They should let them watch that video. He looks back at that. He'd be saying, "What's going on here?" Crazy.
So if you were in the Spurs dressing room, having got in from training now, going to Villa Park for tomorrow, what a lift that is potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, they wouldn't have seen.
They would have been dreading a 5-point gap, wouldn't they?
They would have done, yeah. But again, I mean, let's be honest, Steve. If you're Spurs and you need West Ham losing to give you incentive to pull away from the relegation zone, then there's a serious problem in that dressing room anyway. But I just think that little edge, seeing how they kind of capitulated, because you wonder what the lasting effect will be for West Ham after that second half performance. But for Spurs, you're thinking to yourself, a prime opportunity. If we can go to Villa and get something, and certainly a win, but don't get beat. You're talking about either you're out of the relegation zone or it's 1 point.
You know the thing, when I look at it, Darren, we'll find out a lot about Tottenham in this Villa game, because Villa at home, tough proposition. Tottenham need to win to get out of the bottom three. They need to win, right? So we're going to find out a lot about this Tottenham dressing room with this game, because they only a win will do. Anything less than that and they'll fail, because West Ham have given them a massive chance by losing in that manner as well, because the way they lost as well, West Ham, that looks like a team that feel like they're already down. They're out of it. They were out of it. They could have gone 5 points clear. If I'm Tottenham, I'm going to Villa Park and we're going to do everything I can to win the game, because I believe now, if I'm looking at the West Ham players, they look doomed, especially watching that last goal.
Interesting.
How nice is it for you to be back in the win column after a few weeks? I mean, you've had a fair few draws in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty honest around our performance and what they could and should equate to in terms of points. Probably haven't had what we deserve, but that's the game, obviously, the levels that we're at. Monday night was a good example against Manchester United. I thought we played really well. And today we just wanted us to continue that level of performance, but find the way to win. Most importantly, with just a few games left of the season and where we're at in the league, it was a really important win today.
It was a tough day ultimately, and you were a little bit disappointed that after the first goal, how West Ham reacted.
Yeah, capitulation. I think that hasn't been the story of West Ham, certainly of recent times. They've been absolutely outstanding. Good energy, good work ethic, but I think after they went 1-0 down, it almost unravelled. It felt like West Ham at the start of the season. Yeah. And yeah, there were moments in the game where they hit the post a few times and they looked really, really sharp, but just crazy decisions at the wrong time, giving the penalty away, not getting tight enough to your marker. And these things they've got to brush up on because they've got a tough few games coming up. They are in the bottom, just outside the bottom 3, sorry. But their performance has got to improve.
It was a crazy way they conceded that what was ultimately an own goal to open the scoring, righty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And again, like Darren said, I have to emphasise the same thing in respect of like the way they've done what they've done this season. For them to start like they did, it was poor. You know, it was. They should have been a lot tighter. I think Chris said so. Somerville, I think he could have done a lot better tracking his man. In the end, you know, Mavropanos is trying to clear it, but he doesn't clear it. But it seems so easy for a team that's played so well up to this point to try and stay in this race, stay in this race to get away from the relegation, and then it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, Nuno said the turning point was the penalty. I mean, Malik Diouf, what was he thinking? Just 6 minutes into the second half.
Do you know what he wasn't thinking? And when you're down there at the bottom fighting relegation, you make rash decisions because you're panicking, thinking, I don't want to make a mistake. And he goes to ground because he's anticipated the cross and he tries to block it. But as you can see here, when they change the camera, I mean, it's really well played from Motara. And it's the last touch there where he didn't expect it and he goes to ground and it's 100% a stonewall penalty.
The thing about it is that Motara's waiting. He can actually see, right, I can just go over his leg now. But see, he actually kicked the top of his leg because he's gone down so early. It's such a bad thing to do, such a poor challenge. He's gone down so early. That's why he's shaking his head. Motara's got to go over him. And it's a great penalty. It's a super penalty.
He's up there for one of the players of the season, Thiago. I mean, he's not really getting the credit he deserves.
Why isn't he? Because he's now on 22 Premier League goals. He's only 2 behind Erling Haaland. And by the way, you mentioned his penalty record, 8 from the spot.
It's because he's at Brentford. It's because he's at Brentford.
He's in the Brazil squad under Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the same as like you look at someone like Wissa. Vissa's getting so much kind of negativity at the moment because he said, well, he's come from Brentford. What do you expect? He's not doing it here because it's too big a club. People do not respect what Brentford are doing and what they do, whether it's the behind the scenes, the way the clubs run, the players that they bring in, the players they move on. It's a well-run club. They find very, very good players, and he's another one.
And after that, you used the word capitulation. It could have been more. There was only 3 in the end, but West Ham just looked a pale shade of themselves.
Yeah, this is the goal that, I mean, look at Wan-Bissaka there, ambles out, doesn't really, no intensity to get back in and get tight. Adama Traore's just been on the pitch for 10 minutes, so he shouldn't be tired. He offers nothing either, and then Fernandes not getting tight enough to block the cross. That whole goal, if you're Nuno looking at that, not tight enough, not close enough, it's too easy for Brentford. Even the celebration from Damsgaard's a little bit like where I've scored a goal. They can't do that again next week. They've got Arsenal coming up next. If they play like that against Arsenal, after what we've just seen from Arsenal, they'll get beat 4 or 5. They have to be better.
That was really poor.
I mean, I know Spurs have got to concentrate on their own performances, and they've got a big game on Sunday night away at Aston Villa, but they would have been fearing some sort of West Ham result there. Not only have they been beaten, the way they've been beaten, would that be a lift for Spurs?
Yeah, I think so. I think that going into the game with the way that West Ham were playing, you would have fancied that this was going to be a tough game. I said it was going to be a tight game. It was everything but the fact is that if I am Tottenham, I know now, as tough as Villa's going to be, we've got to go there and do something. We've got to get something because this West Ham side, whatever they've done up to this point, people saying, they look like they're getting momentum, which I was saying, to get out of this, Steve, where has it gone? Because that was a terrible performance for a team that needed to win today to go 5 points clear to really put Spurs in the mire, but they haven't done it, so Spurs have a chance. So it's up to Spurs to see if they've got to go and beat Villa. They have to beat Villa.
And if they do, it's in their own hands.
Yes.
That's the thing, and especially when you see what West Ham have got coming up, you go, Arsenal, Newcastle away from home, we've had they're obviously going to get better under Eddie Howe, and then Leeds at home. It's going to be a tough running for West Ham as well, so today would have been one of those. If they could have got a bit of momentum, a bit of confidence, you'd go, OK, they've got to give themselves a chance. But again, I go back to the capitulation word. Just weren't good enough.
You know something? If someone said, what would you say right now? Judging off of that performance, if Tottenham can beat Villa, then I think West Ham will go down.
Right, let's try and cover what's been happening this afternoon. Just been absolute incredible day in terms of drama. We need to start off, though, in the Premier League. In the game that you were watching, Dorse, it was the significant game of the afternoon in terms of the relegation picture in the Premier League. In terms of fatal blows for West Ham, OK, we need to see what happens with Tottenham Hotspur away to Aston Villa tomorrow. How big a blow was that this afternoon? And was there a worrying lack of fight from the Hammers once they went behind?
Yes, when they went behind. I mean, look, they'll probably look and try and reflect on something positive, which, how do you do that when you get beat 3-0? But you've got to remember where Brentford were. Yes, they've drawn 5 out of the last 6, but they've put themselves into a Champions League position in 6th. So it's quite remarkable. So you've got to be a realist going away from home. And in the first half, there was nothing in it. Look, they got the goal, Brentford, great play. I thought they were outstanding on the day. And then you talk about fine margins, hitting the post twice, second half hitting the crossbar through Somerville. They had a goal disallowed. Fine margins, and that can be the difference. Maybe they've been on the right end of those in recent weeks. Certainly last week against Everton, you know, there was a handball situation. Could that have been given against them? Then they get a last-minute goal. So they have to dust themselves down, go again. I mean, look, they go Arsenal next week, Newcastle and then Leeds on the final day. So they've got 3 big games coming up. Still 2 points out of the relegation zone. Over to Spurs tomorrow, going to...
And that's a big ask, isn't it, for Tottenham Hotspur? Yes, they got the win last weekend, but so did West Ham. But a big ask at Villa Park.
Huge ask. But will Aston Villa have one eye on the Champions League? Will they have one eye on Thursday night playing Nottingham Forest to get to a final in the Europa League? So we always say this time of year there's some crazy results, ones that maybe you don't always expect. You know, teams that maybe haven't been informed. You see Newcastle beat Brighton. Fine margins in games. This can happen. So, I mean, you go next week against Arsenal home. Dust yourselves down and you go again. But huge result for Brentford. We have to talk about them. Outstanding. And imagine Brentford in Champions League football. Keith Andrews, the job he's done. People on here tipped him for relegation, and when I watched them in the first game against Nottingham Forest...
Look at Sue's face.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but I probably would have tipped him after the first game at Nottingham Forest. They were so poor, so credit to them. I mean, Damsgaard, the goal he gets late on in the game, it was from defending to attack. Keane Lewis Potter playing left back. He then strides out, makes a big switch to... who was it? I'm not too sure. It was a great ball. Jensen, and then makes a switch to Keane Lewis Potter, sets it. And it's just brilliant. They're so good. Thiago, 22nd Premier League goal of the season.
He's hunting Haaland down, isn't he? It's 2 now.
Yeah, I mean, so many positives. And one person I have to touch on, Josta Silva, came on. Reception of the day for Brentford. He's not played since January 2024. So credit to him. Great day's work for Brentford. Well done to them.
No wonder he's smiling there. I mean, what an achievement for Leeds. They've won 3 of the last 4 league games to get on.
Pleased with them. Like Leeds, I think they should be in the Premier League. It's that stature club that should be here. Their support is magnificent. Obviously, Farke's come back again and seems like he's got them going well enough to stay in the league. And, you know, rightly so. I think they've battled really well this season. And at the business end, they've come up with the goods. I think they've done it. I know they talk about mathematically, but I think they've definitely...
Well, no team in a 38-game season has ever gone down with 43 points, so it would be history. 3 goals. The pick of them was the second one, wasn't it? The confidence running through the veins.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Really good performance from Leeds, and it was great play. I mean, Calvert-Lewin looks so sharp here. So, I mean, what a signing he's been, by the way. A lot of eyebrows were raised when Leeds picked him up because of his injury record. But the vision there for the little back heel, but Jalen Bogle, I know really well from his time at Derby, just leaves it in a really nice area. And then Okafor comes on hard side foot. With Calvert-Lewin there, it's fantastic. But this ball here, that's harder than you think. He leaves it in an area, and Okafor with the finish.
And 6 in 7 for this fella.
Yeah, he's been incredible. He stepped up at the right time. When Leeds have needed big performances from some of their bigger players, he's certainly one that's been at the heart of it. So, yeah, really pleased for Leeds.
I think when you look at someone like next season, we'll see how he goes again, because he knows what it's about now. He's scored goals. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on next season.
What about the bigger picture? Because the last 2 seasons, we've seen all 3 promoted clubs come up and go down, and now Sunderland and Leeds are going to be back again. They've bucked the trend, and without any sort of last-minute nerves either.
No, yeah, they've both done it really well. I think recruitment for both sides, Sunderland and Leeds, has been what's the key. Obviously, Leeds, you can talk about Calvert-Lewin being crucial. You look at Xhaka at Sunderland. I just think both of them have got their recruitment absolutely spot on. But from Leeds, I think Leeds have ended the campaign really well. I think Sunderland started the campaign really well, and that's what saved them. I mean, they didn't lose a home game for months. And I think that getting those points in early has really helped them. And yes, Leeds have gone about it the hard way, but if you're a newly promoted side like Coventry and Ipswich, and we don't know who's going to go out for the playoffs, I would look at those models and go, do you know what? If they can do it, there's no reason why we can't do it.
Absolutely.
And of course, now the challenge, as Sheffield United found that year when they came up, is to go again and try and repeat that and try and enhance the squad further, isn't it?
Well, this is when we find out what the people upstairs really want to do, what ambitions they've got, because I think that Leeds have got, like I say, the fan base. And you'd easily be attracted to Leeds if they had the right players there and the right kind of monies they were paying people, because it's an unbelievable town, it's a vibrant town, it's a brilliant football town. So, you know, they should be in the Premier League. So they need the owners to make sure that they back the manager.
OK, so that has been a dramatic week.